Welcome back to this channel. Thank you for viewing in. So for those of you who are new here, I'm actually doing video or development tutorials on game dev. For those of you who might be interested, you can consider subscribing. With that being said, let's get into today's video. So if you followed my last video anyways, this is how far we got. We were able to get our floor color, this background, and also start moving this floor. For those of you who followed it, you would understand. You can see now when I hit play, the floor starts to move up, and then it can take my character off screen, and it's somehow slow. So we're going to find a way to actually increase the speed in today's video. But the first thing I would do now would be to create my maybe spikes or something up here, so that this our main character would not be able to collide with it. Before I do that, let me rename this sphere to player. Okay, so this should be okay. Let me override this, apply. Okay, so it's already overwritten also. So this is it, I guess. Today we'll do our first video on modeling in using a 3D modeling software called Blender, and it's not really the latest version, but then I'm not doing anything complex for now. Let's go into it. So I'm actually using Blender 2.79, but if you're watching this video, then I think there should be a newer version 2.8 or so. I don't know, but for some reason I have not updated this. So if you have the chance to update yours, make sure you do. Don't waste any moment on it. I think the only difference with this and that would be that the outliner should be kind of vertical by the right hand side also, but else I think it should give us what we want today. Anyways, so we're going to use our default cube. Then when you open 2.79, this is how it is. It should be the same for all Blender files mostly. And so for those who haven't used this before, I'm going to be explaining each and every step. This is what you use to create 3D game objects. You can add up materials to it using a few places. You can add material, add some things for some modifiers which can make your game object look kind of realistic, and other stuff that you can do in Blender, which I would not be covering in this tutorial. But mainly for today, let's see how we can make dangerous spikes for the game we're creating. Anyways, let me press tab and I can go into edit mode. Let me press 1 so I can use front orthographic projection or view. And then right now what I'm going to do is change this to face select the top face, back to 1, and then I'm going to bring this up, pull this up a bit, and then I'm going to scale this by pressing S, and I'm going to hit 0 on my keyboard. So this should be okay, and then I'm going to select the entire game object now by pressing A to deselect and A to select everything again. Then I'm going to press R to rotate and rotate it by 180. So this should be okay for me, and I'm going to deselect everything. Now this is okay, it should do for my Blender, for my Unity game, but then it doesn't look, just looks like a simple pyramid if I'm not mistaken. So to make this kind of more beautiful, I'm going to add a modifier, Subdivision Surface, and you can see it gives it that nice look. It looks almost like a crystal, but it's going to be dangerous in our game. And going to hit tab, go back to object mode, hit 1 so I can view this well, and then I'm going to apply this first of all. Then I'm going to go into materials, change this from Blender render to Cycles render, click add material, new material. Then I'm going to give this a color, maybe like red. I think red should be okay. Anyways, so I'm going to select the entire thing, go back into edit mode, and I'm going to select everything here and assign this color to it. And if I should press F12 on my keyboard, it should show me what I just put. So you can see that the material has been applied to it, and this is what we are going to be using in our Unity tutorial. So let's go back by pressing escape. Even though it's not fully rendered, we don't need seeing what we want. Escape twice. And now to export this, I'm going to go into file, then export as FBX, and it's going to ask me where I want to put it. So I'm going to locate my Unity I'm going to locate the Unity scene or folder which I made. So mine is in documents, in tutor. I'm going to double click this, go into assets, double click it, and under my prefabs, let me put it here, and I'm going to call this I really want to name it crystal, but it's really beautiful. I'm going to call this spike. Enter. Spike. No, just spike.fbx. Should be okay. So I'm going to export this file there. Now if I should go back into Unity, and I come back into Unity and I go into the assets to check my assets inside prefabs, you can see my spike is there. It comes with a camera, lamp, and material, and all this stuff which we are not going to be using in any way. But first off, let me drag the entire thing into the screen so we can see what it looks like. So looking at this closer now, this spike, we can see down under its children there is a camera, a cube, and a lamp, and I only want the camera actually, not really the cube or any other thing. Okay, I need the cube actually to render the spike. I don't need the camera and I don't need the lamp. So to do this, I'm going to right click on my spike and select unpack prefab. So with this being done, I've changed the game object from this prefab, so it's now independent on its own. Now I'm going to delete this camera because I don't need it. This lamp also will be deleted. I don't need it now. And for my spike, let me reset this transform. You can see it in the middle now. And this cube. So we can see we will need the cube, which would be the spike, and then the spike is just, we will need the cube which will be rendering this game object, and then the spike is just an empty game object which we're going to put multiple spikes up on it. So I'm going to drag this now up top to over here, which is about 4.5. So I'm going to approximate this to 4.5. Now I'm going to scale this to 0.5. Let's see if that will work. 0.5, and also on the Z also 0.5. So this is small enough. Let's drag it upward. Let's see, so it's 5. So let's keep it at 5. This should be okay. So these cubes now, I'm going to duplicate them to at least 3. Let's put one here. The extreme, that's -6, -6, and this one would be at 6, and this, let's see, let's put it somewhere here. It's 5, -5, -5, and the next would be at oh, you know what, let me delete all these. Let's start from the beginning. So there is 1 in the middle, going to duplicate this, put this at -6, should be okay. Duplicate this, put cube 2 at +6, it is okay. Duplicate this, and then we go down to 5, -5, then 4, -4. The next would be at 4, 3, 1, 2. This would be at 3. Other would be at -3, then 2, and -2, finally 1. The next would be -1. So as you can see, we have our dangerous spikes up top, which we don't want to go near. Nobody will want to come near this, so this should be okay now. What I did not do though was add a material to these spikes. So down, I'm going to go into my materials. We double click this, right click here in the project panel, go into create and material. There it is. I'm going to give this spikes. And what do I color this now? What is the color of a dangerous looking spike? Ash. No, it's too. Let's use this color. You can see the hexadecimal 936828 if you want to copy that. Then I'm going to increase the metallicness to somewhere at 0.56. This at 0.7. So I would select all this, shift select to the end, and I'm going to drag this on each and every, and I have to drag it to each of them one after the other. I thought that multi-select would work, but it seems like it doesn't. So let's just color these now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So this being done, we have our spikes, and now when we play the game to see what happens, this is really slow. Let me change the speed for this floor. Coming to the elevate, let me make it something like 100. Let me see how this will be. Override, apply this. Temporarily, of course, we might change it back. Just want to see if it will get faster, and I think 100 is okay now. So it passes through the spikes. It doesn't really stop because we did not code it to say game over, and we did not adjust that yet. And we can also see these spikes should be in front, not behind. So we need to adjust these spikes. So to adjust our humble spikes, what we do is we select the spike. We select the spike and we move it slightly forward to, let's say, 1. That's on the Z. Or sorry, let's move it, let's put it as -1. I think this should be okay. Let me play the game now and see if one should do. And it's still in front, so let me take this to let's say minus 1 should be a good number. Let's try this now. Okay, so it goes behind it, and that's a really easy way to do it, but I think minus 1 is too much. Let's put minus and then point, let's say 3 or 0.2. Let's see whether that is okay. 0.5 then. And so we'll leave it at minus 0.5, and I think this should be okay. So what we will do now is create a way for this sphere to actually detect if it's touching these spikes over here. And the way we do that is by giving the spikes a collider, which we would use to detect this. So what I'll do now is select my spikes. Actually, before that, let me open my prefabs folder. Let me rename this spike into spikes because it's multiple now, and I'll drag this in here to create a new prefab. As you can see, this is what the prefab is made up of. So it's now a prefab, which means it won't be destroyed. However, or even if it gets destroyed, we can still bring it back. So this should be okay right now. So this overwrites. Now I'm going to go ahead and add, or let me use the prefab. Open prefab. I'm going to add a component now, which would be a collider, a box collider. This box collider, I'm going to size it to like let's say 5, nope, 10, still too small, 15 on the X, 1, let me see what I'm dealing with. Let's put something like 4 on the Y. Let's use 2. Yeah, so the edge is touching the tip, which is what I want. Then at the Z now, let me swap this. On the Z axis, let me put something like 5. So this way, I think it should be able to detect if it hits. So let me go back now into my game. Let me save this and go back into the game, and let's play it and see if it detects collision. You can see it's detecting collision, which is what we want. So I think this should be okay now. So we've done something at least for today's video. I've shown you how to model a simple dangerous game object for our game, and we got to put it together. I think this should be the end for this video. For our next video, we'll see how we can make this to kind of detect or call game over when the sphere touches the spikes, and then we're going to start spawning in our floors. So these cubes, I'm going to remove these two, and they are going to be spawning between these positions for our next video. So thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up. If you did not enjoy it, then you can at least comment down below so I can fix my errors. Thank you guys for watching. See you in my next video.